Hello there. It's 3 p.m. Western Time. Here we are, my friend. I hope that you tune in and have your question ready. And I'm ready to answer as many questions. And here's my dear friend, Keith Fiala. He's also ready to answer many questions that you could have about it. Anything regarding the horn, the trumpet, I would love to start to do something I have been doing for a few months, not long ago. It's a little tweak of the sixth note of Carmine Caruso. With a little tweak, doing, the first note, we have to do it with breath attack. But then the second note and the third note with a soft tongue attack. But the second and the third note, we're gonna do like a little bending of those notes. Something like this. Don't forget, we cannot move anything around the mouth, around the face. Just breathe to your nose and keep that thing like a photograph, like a picture. Don't move. According to Caruso, we should do it twice, back to back. Yes, I've been doing that. As we say, we kill two birds with one stone. You do the sixth note and then you add a little bending note, which is very convenient for the control of the embouchure, to really be sure we are using our lips correctly, to be 100% efficient. And I mix that as always, of course, with the Maggio warm up, which is everybody knows. natural, but never ever use a funny or false position. Always use the real position. I'm gonna start in the F chart and then I continue all the way down. At the end, like Maggio said. That's nothing new, guys, but as I said in my post this morning that I'm going to talk about my regular warm-up, what I have been doing for so many years. And so far, I believe that it has been working. Sometimes I add, for example, I add the Caruso seconds, which is probably the first lesson after the 6 notes, the second. Caruso recommend to stop there after the C, and to keep going up is absolutely optional. It's optional, but that thing for me, like this, has been working okay. If you want to continue as high as you want, it's good too. But are you watching there? Somebody asking some question?
They have, yes, sir. There's a question. Mark says, I've heard a lot of good players saying that they support the bottom lip with the tongue. What do you think about this?
Support the bottom lips with the tongue?
With the tongue. Yes, sir. That's what he's asking.
Man, I don't even understand that. What?
I don't know if he's
like
referring
putting the tongue behind the lower lips?
Possibly. Maybe he's talking about like an anchor.
Between the lips and the teeth and the tooth?
Could be. I'm not exactly following because I don't understand that question either.
Man,
maybe
so
Mark,
sorry.
if you can elaborate.
Mark, please, make your question a little more understandable for the guy who not even speak English well. Okay, guys, I got something here also that I want to. Of course, this is not a commercial. I don't want to sell more Sandoval's. By the way, we're run out. We don't have any more in the stock. But I always use this with metronome. I'm gonna show you what I have been doing. It not necessarily have to be at this speed. I have already set up a 220 beats per minute. And I do the lesson number 1 of Clark. Just this, not even without a mouthpiece, just with this, like this, something like this. But be sure your fingers go right together, tight with the metronome. Sometimes I put a little bit the tables on top of the tables on to hear the resonance. Keep your finger firm, but try to concentrate in the, how you say, the forearm?
The forearm, yes,
The forearm as relaxed as you could. This have to be, otherwise, after a few seconds, you're gonna start to feel tension in the muscle and then, but it's better to concentrate, to keep this relaxed. This under control, 100%, but the forearm, relax. I can do that for, I don't know, as long as you want me to do it. And I feel my forearm are absolutely relaxed. And I swear, when you switch to the horn, after doing that with the metronome, of course. Some people, I don't know. Some people that have, they don't have the habit, you know, of to use the metronome. It's no. I'm not gonna say that it's absolutely mandatory or necessary to use it all the time. But I really believe that to use it at least 2-3 times a week to practice with the metronome, that ain't gonna hurt. All the way around, that's gonna help. That's gonna help your fingering, you know, because that kind of control. Later on, when you are gonna switch here, gonna use something else. For example, this. Oh, hold on. This is 400 beats per minute. I can't hear this well. Let me. Now I hear better. Wow, that's a little too fast, but that's the thing I'm looking for when I practice that kind of thing with the metronome, to be sure that my finger is going to respond correctly in those kind of fast tempo. But not only fast, when you play slow melody, something is important to have your finger under absolute control. When you do on a scale or something, it has a big bore, and the water get in all over the thing, and sometimes I don't even know where's the water. Another question there, sir.
Yes, sir. Tom
Please.
Savage asks, what is your thoughts on warming up loud?
Because he thought I was
I'm
playing
assuming,
loud.
yeah, because right behind that, Jeremy Alvarez says, how much air are you blowing through the horn?
Oh, okay. I blow the amount of air that is necessary. No more, no less. But I'm going to tell you, my concept is based on the ideas and the concept of the great teacher and incredible trumpet player that it was Yuan Raisi. Yuan always said, it's not a matter of volume, it's not a matter of loud, it's a matter of the size of the sound. And that has been my priority and my preoccupation and my goal, to produce a kind of sound that sounds thick, fat. It doesn't matter if I play extremely soft or if I put a little more air, a little more volume, but the same concept, the same thing, trying to keep that color, that timbre of the sound equally all over. But the only thing I promise you is, even when you hear that, I don't know, this is the iPhone thing. I don't trust, I don't believe that's going to be like a kind of pristine sound quality. I don't believe that. But even if somebody believes that I'm playing loud, I swear to God, I'm playing extremely soft and extremely relaxed. Now I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna play a little louder. I don't know if the microphone gonna handle that, but the same thing, a little louder. Of course, we cannot get to the point where the sound gets distorted. We cannot get there. But just to show you that I was playing relaxed and kind of soft. Especially in the beginning, when you start warming up, it's a principle that we must follow. Don't do anything on the string. Not too loud, not too extremely soft, but not too high, not too extremely low. Just something in the center of the instrument, in the middle register, and it's like a sport people who run 100 meters. They never go to the field in the morning and set up their stopwatch, and they say, okay, I'm gonna start at 7 a.m. to break my own mark. No. They take it very, very easy, very easy. It's exactly what we have to do, because that's the meaning of warming up. It's not destroying up, it's warming up and making the muscle around the mouth, especially getting the right tone to support all the things we're gonna expose our chops later, you know. And but one more time, I'm never gonna get tired to repeat that the quality of the sound is the most important thing in any instrumentalist. I'm gonna repeat that until I die. The quality of the sound, the quality of the sound. I always get a little sad and a little confused and a little bit pissed off, to be honest. When the people always, you know, make emphasis or talk about my freaking high notes or whatever. Man, I don't know. The piano have 88 notes, you know. All of them are important. All of them, they have the capability to make music. And we don't make any different, any distinction, you know, between the people who play in the passage in the middle range or people. It's music. It's all music. But let's go back to the quality of the sound. That's mandatory. Because you could play million notes with the wrong sound, nobody cares. You play 2 notes with the right sound, everybody appreciate it. And everybody say, wow. That's the kind of wow you want. Wow. You don't want that kind of say, wow. You don't want to see a fellow musician, you know, saying, oh my goodness. Just when they start to tune the orchestra, you know, or something, they give you the first B flat concert. Just to play that note, everybody in the orchestra gonna notice if your sound is right on the money or your sound is a kind of Another question, yes.
Yes, sir. Steve Castle. I'm having trouble transitioning from my pedal C sharp to pedal C. Any tips?
Oh, that's related to all of those. My question to him is, are you playing the C sharp with like this and the C natural open? That's the way it should be. But of course, it's a big difference to produce a good low C clean and with your regular embouchure. It's something you have to adapt, especially inside your mouth and in your throat. You have to believe that you are about to sing that note. Oh, your tongue have to be very flat in the bottom. Your throat must be extremely relaxed without participating in the function of create a tone or something. And your chops could be a little more relaxed than when you play in the high C or whatever, but without adopting like a false and funny position that you never gonna use in your regular playing. I'm gonna do some example of this. A little bit more. Have to be your regular embouchure, but of course the position especially inside the mouth have to be wide open and your tongue must be very flat in the bottom of the mouth. And don't try to play that note like this because that's shitting. That don't gonna help you at all. Of course, it's a little easier, but the results you're gonna get from playing that note open is completely different than playing like this. This is like wasting your time. You're not gonna resolve any problem. But when you play an open, that's a complete different story. It's a complete different story. And that gives you that kind of sense of freedom of your air. And that's gonna apply to the rest of the sound. By the way, for the people who could, let me put this. This is I don't know, was yeah. This is a 1 1/4 Monverno, back Monverno. It's a big mouthpiece, okay? It's not like a shallow piece of metal to create notes and high notes. No, that's not me. No, I have no interest in that at all. I never was, and I never will. If I'm 70 years old, if later on in my life, if I start to lose all those notes, believe me, as long as I learn how to play pretty, I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't care. I swear to God. I prefer to give up all the high notes in the world and be able to play pretty. A bunch of my heroes never play high, very high notes, like Clifford Brown, not even Dizzy, Chet Baker, Timofey, Doug Caesar, all those great Clark Terry. Oh my goodness, a lot of great trumpet players. Rafael Mendez, any of those guys play high notes. And after so many years, we're still learning from them, and we're still talking about them and admiring and respecting them. Another question, sir.
So Mark kind of clarified. He said yes, basically like touching the bottom lip with the tip of your tongue. So he's going back to the tip of the tongue touching the lip.
Something like this.
Uh-huh.
No, man, no, I don't believe I don't believe I ever thought about that or used those kind of things, or not even was conscious of that thing gonna be possible, to be honest. Of course, you know, the lips sit on our, you say the teeth or tooth?
Teeth. Yes, sir.
The lips sit on your teeth. As comfortable the back of the thing is, you're gonna have, you're gonna feel a little more comfortable, you know, because you know, when you have things like pointing or something like that, are creating a kind of the lack of blood circulation behind your teeth, that create a problem. That create a tiredness. You get tired. You don't have the same kind of endurance, and the efficiency of the vibration of your thing. By the way, yesterday I think it was Michael Rodriguez, which is a great trumpet player from New York. I know Michael for many years. He was talking about buzzing like this. And I'm not like a kind of obsessed with those kind of things, you know. I barely do that. But I remember I thought Clark Terry doing that. Man, I couldn't believe it. I never thought nobody have such an incredible control of his lips doing that kind of thing. Sometimes I put the hand like this. To be sure that, you know, the lips are vibrating correctly, you know. Oh, we post a photo. I think you did it, and then I reposted. Keith posted a photo of my LeBlanc, the son of our mother, and on the back was a book, a wonderful book of Timothy Dutch Caesar. Man, I really, we practice a lot with that book. I highly recommend it. It's an incredible book, incredible. The book covers a lot of topics, a lot of things that are extremely interesting for any trumpet player. And of course, it's based mainly in the classical approach of the instrument, which is some people are a little confused, about that thing. My recommendation is, as much as you can, when you practice, not rehearsing or playing or whatever, but when you're practicing, try to keep in mind that when you finish your practicing, you're gonna play minor fifth. To have that kind of sound, that fat, thick sound that resonate, because when you got that kind of sound, you're touching all the sides, of the, how you call this, not the side, the
All of the bell?
all of the bore.
All the bore,
The
there you go.
bore are vibrating by sympathy with the vibration you are producing and with the amount of air that you send it. And that thing create like a covering the whole thing. You understand what I mean? It's not like a sound that coming in the middle of the bell like this, and don't let the rest of the thing participate. I hope I explain myself, to touch all the side of the board and the bell, of course, to touch that. I'm gonna play a little bit with that LeBlanc. Man, this horn is still working for me. It's still working a little bit.
Another question, sir.
Yes.
Parker Blackington says, at times I feel that my ideas during my improvised solos are poor. What kind of things would you recommend doing to get better ideas for solos?
Good question. I like it. And you know what? Let me move here. Because if we're talking about improvisation and those kind of things, man, I don't even know what to do with the trumpet or thing, but for me it's a lot easier and a lot more direct to go into the piano. The first thing I recommend to any musician who wants to learn how to improvise and have that absolute control of the chord changes and know exactly what you're doing, where you want to go, and where the next progression, how to organize those phrases, how to make those things to logical. My recommendation is to start very simple, just to learn how to play a major chord. can visualize what you're doing, you know, and you see the chord, and then you memorize that, or when you go into any kind of horn, if you got the keyboard in your mind, that suggests you a lot of things, and then you're gonna be sure that the notes you're playing make sense with those chords. I've been doing things for many years, for example, which is I'm gonna start in F major. F minor, B flat 7, E flat major 7, E flat minor 7, A flat 7, D flat major 7, D flat minor 7, F sharp 7, B natural major 7, B minor 7, E7, A major 7. It's going down by one key at a time. We start at F, F, F minor, B flat, E flat, major 7, E flat, E flat, E flat minor 7, A, D flat major, and then like this all the way down, and then I'm gonna play a little bit slow because I want everybody, then, when you get familiar with that, you can make it a little more complicated. Instead of a whole tone going down, we're gonna go half step down. F major, F minor 7, B flat 7, E natural major 7, E minor 7, A7, and then instead of go to D, we go to E flat major 7, E flat minor 7, A flat, and then D major 7, something like that. Something you have to be concentrate, you know, a little bit, and yeah. The other thing I always has been recommending is in the classical music, for example, when you are playing if you're playing in a C major. Playing a C major, and you go to the dominant chord, which is G. Of course, this is the scale. But in jazz we use a little variation of that. Instead of, I'm gonna keep playing in my left hand all the time, C and G7. But now the right hand, I'm gonna start to use several chords. This is not written in stone. You can experiment according to your taste or whatever you feel or you hear or something. But instead of use the regular notes of G7, we're gonna experiment with different chords. First one I would like to suggest is left hand G7, right hand D flat major. Okay, the same thing. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing over here, C and G. But now the right hand, I'm gonna use, instead of D flat, I'm gonna use B natural. And then I'm gonna keep experimenting. I'm gonna use now E natural. And then I'm gonna use A natural. And then I'm gonna do a random, like crazy kind of thing. I'm gonna play a few notes of D flat, a few notes of B, a few notes of E, a few notes of A, and a few notes of yeah, D flat. This is just an example. Of course, when we play in jazz, and our left hand is we barely do when you do the C, I mean the G7, which is the dominant chord of C. We never do this. Now, most of the time we do something like. Sometimes only 3 notes. F, B, E natural, which is the 13. I mean the 9. The 7, but in this case, I hope I explain myself, you know, it's a little complicated. You don't see the thing, you know. Man, the sun is so nice. That's beautiful because it has been raining here in LA for the last few days. Another question, please.
Yes, sir. Chris asks, hey, Arturo and Keith, what kind of exercises can you do for endurance when you are away from your horn for a couple of days?
That's a good question. It's a little difficult to answer that correctly because I strongly believe the endurance, you gain the endurance as long as you practice, as long as you playing, you know. It's like the people who run 10,000 meters. You know how they practice? Doing at least 20. They don't practice 5,000 to make a competition of 10,000. They practice easy 20,000 because we practice for several hours, you know, and our gig is 1 hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, something. If you are not very lucky, you have to, I don't know, a gig longer than that, but usually we play 90 minutes or sometimes 2 hours, that's it. And if you practice for 20 minutes, you're gonna be done after 20 minutes. You're gonna die after 20 minutes because your muscle, they're used to that kind of work for 20 minutes. And it's a matter of the muscle have a memory, and they memorize whatever you have been training those muscles. If you train those muscles properly to be efficient for at least a couple of hours, they're going to respond. They're going to respond. Something else also, I strongly believe that people who use a kind of shallow, small mouthpieces, because by naturally our chops, when you start playing and playing over the gig, it start to get it swallow a little bit, get it inflammate a little bit. That's just normal. It's part of our, nature, as the blood circulation and all those things, because you're beating your thing and they respond to that, get it inflamed or something. But to avoid that, try to don't forget that the mission of the air with the right position of the tongue can save your chop. It's important to keep in mind that we are producing the sound. The horn, when you blow the horn, nothing gonna come out. We have to make the sound. We have to create that kind of sound. When the chops start to get a little inflamed, if you are using a very shallow mouthpiece, they're going to start touching your chops, start touching the inside the cup, and then everything going to get stuck and it's going to get difficult to produce a good sound, and everything going to be going to get lost. You're going to lose the low and the high and everything, because you cannot vibrate. Make your lips vibrate correctly and freely, because you are pressing your lips with the cup of the mouthpiece, I think. Yeah. Another question, sir.
Yes, sir. Razvan says, what do you think is the best way for us to understand and learn the language of bebop?
Oh, that's very easy. My recommendation is get a good set of headphones, good ones, and download as many recordings as you could of Fats Navarro, Clifford Brown, Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker. Oh my goodness, Stan Getz. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people have no idea how incredible bebop player Stan Getz was. I got a couple of albums he did together with Dizzy. Oh my goodness, Stan Getz was one of the greatest bebop players of all time. And people like that, download as many of that music you could in your iPhone or any of your electronic device, and listen to that. Listen, because that's the only way. I cannot say, if you study this or do that, you're going to no, it's like learning a language, it's like learning a language. For example, I'm going to give you something. When you hear Count Basie sing, I'm going to give you an example. One of his tunes, famous tune. I would like to hear somebody who explain to a student or to another person or something how to do count basis style. I mean in words, without touching the horn. Say, if you do this and that, you're gonna sound like that. Forget about it. That's BS, guy. You have to listen to that. You have to put that in your blood, in your mind, in your thing. It's like something like. How you explain that to someone? It's something you have to drink, breathe, listen, and all of the above. And you have to listen to that and listen and listen and listen and listen. It's a bunch of nuances and a lot of things that you cannot apply any kind of square theory of the thing. Yeah, you do this, you're gonna It doesn't work that way, guys. No. It's not. It's something like learn how to say, "What's so, my brother?" Exactly. You say it's it's a guy who was not speaking English. Straight, wise. What's up, my brother? That is exactly. You have to say, "What's up, my brother?" It's exactly the same. It's a matter of. The expression of the language, and the way you use the nuances of all those things, It's exactly the same way. Another question, sir.
Yes, sir. Jeff Flanagan.
Hey, how much?
We've gone 42 minutes.
Only?
Only. So Jeff Flanagan says, how often do you practice the pedal register?
The pedal register?
Uh-huh.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day, absolutely. But I don't. My concept is that I don't think about, I'm gonna practice now the low register. No. I'm gonna practice, period. And those lows belongs to the horn. And my goal, my idea, or what I really want to do is incorporate those notes to anything, even to bebop. To strongly believe that those notes belongs to the horn. They are there. It's our mission to use it or not, or to have control of them or not. But in general, on the technical point of view, when you really learn how to play those notes, I swear, your sound gonna suffer, gonna experiment a big change, a big change. A lot of people are confused about that because they cheating, they use a false and wrong position to play those notes, and they don't use the right technique to produce those notes. And what happened is the result you got from that, they are not the best. They are not the best. The best is when you really use your regular position, your normal position, and apply that thing. Look at my chop on my thing. the same position. Of course, I relax a little more the chop when I go down. I relax a little bit, but without changing the position. I'm not buzzing. Some people try to produce those notes buzzing in the mouthpiece. That's BS. That go to nowhere. You're wasting your time, completely wasting your time. You have to produce those notes with your normal embouchure that you're gonna play the rest of the stuff, the horn, because otherwise it's useless, completely useless, completely useless. Some people do that thing. I don't even know how to do it. I'm sorry, but I saw a lot of people trying to play those pedal C or low C. Sorry. Like buzzing like this, and I said, "Excuse me, if you gonna go to a competition to lift weight, like let's put 200 pounds, 200 pounds, you're gonna lift weight, and then you practice at home with a pencil." To go there and pretend you're gonna lift 200 pounds. Good luck. Go ahead, sir.
Another question, but it's in Spanish.
Spanish?
Christoph. Christoph?
Cristo Gómez. No, this is not Spanish, this is Portuguese.
Sorry.
Entra, você acredita que devemos tocar até máximo metade de terceira octava? I'm sorry, man. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I wanted to be fair.
It's a little complicated Portuguese. I understand a little bit, but not 100%.
Okay, I have another question. Henry
Yes.
Mitchell says, what about playing with pressure? I feel that I'm a pressure player and cannot get away from it. It is very damaging, and at 60 years old, is it a good thing to try to get away from pressure playing at my age?
60, you're a baby. I'm gonna be 71 this year. Okay, it's a matter of balance. That false theory of a non-pressure thing, that's BS. Everybody knows that's BS, you know. But it's the matter to don't abuse of your shot. We have to create a compensation there, like a kind of a balance. But as I said before, the air and the position of the tongue and the efficiency of the vibration of our lips, that's gonna help you to don't necessarily have to do like this, to put your mouthpiece through your head to create the thing. Of course, in some point, if you want to play loud and high, you have to do some pressure, but try to don't abuse of that. Don't do it too strained. Okay. You know, I was doing some pressure, of course, but I was sure that the air was really pushing to reach those things more than abusing of your chops, you know. Another question? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mark Rapp says, what is the benefit of the one heavyweight bottom valve cap?
No idea. No idea. Actually, this one, oh yeah, this one has it, but I really don't know. I'm not an expert of those kind of things. But this one doesn't have. No. This one, let me show you. No, don't have it. This is completely empty. It's not like a heavy. This is because this is kind of short over here, and I grabbed the horn like this, and I did this for better grip, you know. But I really don't know. I'm not too crazy about those kind of accessories, you know. I always believe in the Indian, not in the Arab. Yeah.
Another question. Angel Lopez, Maestro Arturo, what advice would you give to musicians that are losing a lot of work because of the crisis in the country right now? How should we prepare for when things turn around? Thank you and many blessings.
Many blessings, my friend. And you know, we are not exempt of that thing. We got all our gigs canceled this month, and next month I not even know yet. But my purpose today was exactly to stay away from that thing that I not even want to mention that thing. We got enough with the news and all the things and whatever. I want to answer questions about music and about technique or whatever, or anything you want to ask me, but I don't want to talk about the coronavirus. Not at all, no. You know what? You know what I've been doing? Practicing a little bit and writing music. Writing music and practicing and taking care of certain things that I couldn't do it because I was on the road. And that's it. We have to find the way always to out of any issue to find the sunny side of the thing, of the tree or whatever, you know. It's better to find something positive out of this situation. That's the only thing I would love to share with you, man.
There's another question. What was the most important thing that Dizzy taught you?
Oh, the most important thing that he don't even taught me, I learned from him just watching him and being around him. And the most important thing was his love and passion for music. He never get tired to talk to you about this and that. And we went together somewhere with whoever, you know. Man, I gotta share with you something. I was, you know, I was so lucky and blessed to be with him for years and around him and share so many different things. But I remember I got here. I'm so sorry. At that time, I don't even have a telephone or whatever. I think I was still living in Cuba. But in one of my trips with him to Europe, I saw this is sitting in the piano. I swear to God, man. He was sitting in the piano putting some chord. And behind him, over here, was Oscar Peterson, and over here was Han Jones. Han Jones, two incredible pianists. They was like this, looking to his finger and whatever he was doing. And I say, man, that's something, you know. That's something. That's one of the, and you know, he never get tired of talking about music and thing and experience and thing and to share with people how to resolve this kind of progression of this kind of thing and how to, you know. For example, one of his tunes that's half a kind of different thing. This one. A lot of people do it. That's it. Should be the normal thing, no? You do it. You know, many years ago, in the beginning, when we started hanging, and I asked him this. He said, "This, man, how you describe, or how can you help me with those weird notes that you play within the chord or whatever?" And he looked at me and said, "Weird? What are you talking about? They're not weird. They're funny notes." And it's true, man. This applied the thing that I told you in the beginning when the thing that you go to G and I use the G7 and you use D flat. apply those things, you know. And you notice, right, when you hear somebody improvising and you hear that kind of movement of that kind of thing within their language and the way they express the phrases and go around the chord, you notice, right, we say, oh, he know what the heck he's doing, you know, he know what he's doing, you know. Okay.
Another question. Francisco says, "Hi, maestro. To make our time more efficient when we study is something mandatory. Do you have any schedule to take your time on an efficient way?" So what do you do to practice efficiently?
Oh, I use the books, always. Hey, there's a Wayne Bergeron who's asking a question there. Hey, no, you know, I always use the books. I swear to God. I don't like to practice by ear. Only a little bit of the warm up. I do by ear because I have been doing that for 60 years, you know, and then I don't need to see the music. And also, Clark, I don't really need to see the book, you know, because when I was in Cuba, I learned that book by memory, the whole Clark book, the second book, and I copy by hand because we don't have access to the kind of thing. Somebody lent it to me, and I copy the whole book by hand. And but if I'm gonna practice tonguing, scale, I go to Urban. Absolutely. One more time. I don't know is it speak. Yeah, but I want to be sure that every note have the same color, the same accent, the same attack, the same kind of thing. You can use a different way. You can do a little more staccato or less. Or less. It's good to practice in different way, to have everything under control, you know. Different kind of attack. It should all depends, you know, or whatever. Another question.
Kenny Rampton says,
Kenny, wow!
Yeah, hey, Kenny.
Hey, what's up, brother?
How much of your practice each day is dedicated to fundamentals?
You know, I'm gonna be absolutely honest. Years ago, when I used to have a lot more time, I spent a lot more hours with the horn. But now I try to especially when we don't have gigs, you know, when we don't have gigs, that's the days I have to make an emphasis and practice a little more. But one more time, the fundamentals that included the books, you know, all the books. I use Urban, a little bit of Caruso, as I did in the beginning. I use Doug Cheeser, Timofey Doug Cheeser book, which is medicine. And I use, of course, Herbert Lincoln Clark, number 2 and number 3 as well, and number 4 too. All those 3 books. They're very convenient for your fundamental to keep your things together, to keep everything together. And also a little bit of course, Josh Collins, Claude Gordon, all those great books, man. I use everything. Even I use a Michael Sachs a book that he got for preparation for classical thing, for orchestra thing, how to prepare to play a concerto thing. It's an incredible book. I use that too. I use all those kind of books, Magic. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a book there. I mean, it's a lesson from Magic. Things like that. Oh, Clark Gordon have one that he took it from the piano lesson, but starting in the low C. It's a little tough, that one. But when you tone those notes and you go to the middle register of the horn, to tongue it is a lot more efficient and how can I say, yeah, more clear, more clean, Okay, question.
Okay, another question from Wim. He says, thanks Arturo for your time. What exercise to do for building chops?
Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can grab it. Nah, just kidding. I don't know about those things, man. Building shop for what? To do what? We have to build our shop for anything, But if it is asking related,
To high
I know.
notes.
Oh my Lord, you're asking the wrong person, man. I have no idea. Especially when you use a big horn with a 470 bore and a 1 1/4 back mouthpiece to play high. Good luck. But it's possible. Trust me, it's possible. This kind of mouthpiece, for example, Yuan Racy uses one, and Bob Herseth uses one. And a lot of people I know, great players, use big mouthpieces. It's not a matter of, it all depends on what is your priority. If you want to play very high with the ugly sound, that's okay. But if you want to play a little less high with better quality of sound, stay away from that small, shallower mouthpieces. Yeah. Even if you think, wow, yeah, this guy do it, this guy, we are all different. We are all different. But the media, the average is when you use those small, shallower mouthpieces, your sound gonna be tiny and gonna be so brassy, metallic, you understand what I mean? And graspy. You don't gonna have the beauty, the beauty of. Okay, guys, another question.
Yeah, Bill Blackwell says, I know you play a lot of horns, but is your main go-to still Flip Oak's Wild Thing?
You know what? I got a few horns, to be honest. I got my Frankenstein that I still love it. I love that string weird combination. I still using the LeBlanc. I'm using this as the Independent made in Switzerland, which is I like that horn very much. I also now I using the Lee McKinney, the guy who made a horn in England that I really like it a lot. I don't want to bring all the horn here because they're gonna lose time, to concentrate and answer questions and things. But I still loving all the horn, man. I love all the horn, and all of them have different characteristics, Of course, if I want to play a ballad or something, let me tell you, this is what I use this. I change the mouthpiece. I lose the 1 1/4 and I put this one, which is very deep. It's like a cup of the French horn or something like that. But listen to this sound. I have been doing a few recordings with this mouthpiece and that horn, and a lot of people thought that was a flugelhorn. No, it's not a flugelhorn. It's a trumpet, big bore, big bell, and deep mouthpiece cup. Actually, this mouthpiece have the same rim of the 1 1/4. Exactly the same one. You say 1 1/4 rim, the rim are the same, but actually you said here 1 1/4. This is Trent Austin, no? Trent made this wonderful mouthpiece, man. It's 1 1/4, the rim and the thin, but the inside is very deep with a big hole, you know, how you call it?
The throat.
The throat, yeah. And this is my regular Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon 1 1/4. This is my favorite mouthpiece, man. I love it. Okay, question.
So Wayno says,
Wait.
now that we have some time off, when are we going to hang?
Oh man, I hear that question a couple of 100 times. I be here, man. I be here for the rest of the month because all the gigs have been canceled. That's not a fun time, but you know, as I said before, when you're always welcome, man. You just knock the door, and I'm gonna have a coffee ready, and I'm gonna have my stogie ready too. I know that you don't smoke, but. Okay,
So,
another question.
Yes, sir. Another question. Dennis says, how do you improvise? Do you practice particular phrases, or you just go by pentatonic scale? Can you please explain your way of thinking when improvising, especially those ridiculously fast and beautiful passages?
Oh, stay away from those theory of the scale and patterns and pentatonic, all those. Man, stay away. It's something we have to hear. For example, you have to do sol, la, si, do, re. Okay? Sol, la, si, do, re, si, do, la, li, do, do, ti, ti, do. Do, do, ba, do, do, di, do, 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 da, do, do. Da, do, 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 da, do, 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 do. You have to hear the thing. Imagine the phrase before you start that. If you start to apply those theory of where you should use this and what kind of scale, what kind of thing, it's phrasing. This he always said that improvising is like painting a picture, you know. It's mixing the colors and the contrast of all the dynamics and things you see in any picture, you know. We have to create those things. And it's something that has no rules, you know. I'm going to play a little bit of All the Scene You Are, for example. here, this chord is supposed to be the E augmented. But always sound good when you do this and play in your right hand, one key down, D augmented. This combination. Transition also, it's good to learn those things, you know, and it's a matter of spending some time. For example, the blues, you play the blues in F. Variation of that. One of them. For example, you play blue in F, and then imagine you're going to improvise very carefully. You cannot be too crazy, but imagine that you're going to improvise in your right hand, even you keep your left doing the blues. Imagine that you're going to improvise in G, one key up. Could sound like this. Well, those kind of things, you know, it's a matter of spend time in that, guys. Spend time, and try to interiorize it, you know, to put it in your system, in your hard drive. All those kind of things that we could use especially in the jazz music. Yeah. Another question.
Yes, sir. Preston Pierce says, do you still transcribe solos?
I never did. I'm not even written or things or no. I never. I'm so sorry. I know a lot of people did that. Even a lot of my heroes. You know, Michael Brecker and company. You know, those big time musicians. But I don't know. I prefer to close my eyes, forget about my pencil, my pen, close my eyes and put my headphone or my speaker or whatever and try to hear. All those kind of things, it's like learning a language, For example, I'm going to tell you, I know my English sucks, I know, it's horrible, it's very limited, and sometimes I get confused, I don't even know what I say or what I want to say. But I never took a lesson, and I don't even barely know how to write in English or whatever. I never took a lesson ever because I quit the school when I was in 5th grade. The little English I speak, I pick it up by ear, listen to the people trying to repeat like a parrot. And this is what we do. Clark Terry used to say, imitate. Don't forget that, the 3 words he always used. Imitate, emulate, and then create. But the beginning of the whole thing, in any equation, in any profession, when you have heroes, or when you have people you admire, respect, and they're doing great, and people, you start imitating them. And then, when you feel a little more confidence and you get a little more, and then you want to fight. And then in the end, you're going to be able to create. And of course, when you became a bad copy of the original, that's not a good idea. As much as I love DC and Clifford Brown and Freddie Howard and Maurice and Maynard Ferguson, all those people, I love and respect all of them. But the last thing I want in my life is became a bad copy of the original. I try to, of course, I incorporate a lot of those things. For example, one of my heroes. His expression, his attitude when he played, and the kind of emphasis he put in his face and his thing, I love it.
Got another question for you. Matthew Reynolds says, what are the first notes you play each day? Do you have a long tone routine? Do you use the whisper tones like Cat Anderson?
No, I don't use that, but the first note I play always is a G of a second line. By the way, let me share with you something that I came out with this many years ago. To use that note as a sample, as a guide, to guide us to follow that thing, That's going to be our sample, and then we're going to follow that note all over the horn. You should spend a lot of time with that simple G. Very pianissimo, I know. I hope you listen to that. And then use that note and play that note hundreds of times in any kind of articulation, any kind of volume, and any kind of crescendos and decrescendo, everything possible. Use that note to make that note as pristine as possible. And then you start to copy that note. Copycat, you go half a step up and half a step down. but always going back to that G as a sample. When you finish, going in both directions, that takes time. It's not a matter of doing in 5 minutes. That was doing very on the hurry because I'm going to wrap in 5 minutes. And when you finish with that, that's going to be your sound. The sound you're going to be proud of that. Very proud. Because you're going to be open, going to be pure. You're going to hear all the resonance and also the sympathy, all the vibration of the horn in every note. It's to create a kind of a uniform sound. I was playing a little loud, I'm sorry about it. But just, it's another two more questions.
Two more questions. Okay. Claudio says, thanks for your time. What kind of exercises do you recommend for those who have less time for study?
Make concentration. Do
Yes, sir.
the 6 notes of Caruso, do the Maggio warm up, and go straight to the Tongan Urban and the first lesson of Claudio Gordo. That's going to take you half an hour, and you're going to cover a lot of territory.
Very good.
Another one.
Last question. Let me see. What do you think about using different mouthpieces for different purposes?
Oh, I use 3 different ones. Yeah, I'm going to show you what I use mainly the 1 1/4, but also I got a Flick Oaks. This is like a 1, let me see what he called this. He called that I think 1X. Yeah, 1X. It's like a 1 rim, but a little deeper, and I like it for jazz and even for ballad too. I got that, and I got the 1 1/4, and I use this Trent Austin huge thin. I use 3 more pieces. I remember I used to have only 1, especially when I was in Cuba. I was lucky I found a trumpet mouthpiece, 8 trumpet mouthpiece. Guys, I love you all, and I'm sorry I couldn't answer all the questions, but I tried my best, man. And I wish you the best of luck in this difficult time we're living at this moment. But this is gonna be gone very soon, guys. don't let that thing go to your brain, you know. Keep practicing, keep loving music, keep laughing and having fun, because life is too short and full of bad surprise, you know, but it's better to concentrate in the sunny side of the street. Much love, God bless you, and God bless the USA. Bye-bye, guys. I don't know how to finish this.